To fulfill our carpool duties, the other parents took on extra trips and even went out of their way to pick up our son. We got so many offers of help or food that I felt guilty about my inability to field them all. My cup runneth over was the Bible verse that crossed my mind. In the moment, waking up at 4 a.m. with a sore neck in the tiny curtained booth of the PICU, I had an image of a swarm of friends, family, and neighbors rallying to our aid. But as I considered it more during our stay, I saw in greater detail the contours of this support we were enjoying. As I thought about each person or couple who helped us or wrote or called, I noticed these weren't simple bilateral relationships. In almost every case, there was an institution that linked us. Again, this wasn't how we thought about our friends generally. They were just our friends. But whenever I described to others the help we got, I found myself speaking of the couple from our parish or the family from our pool. Some help came from parents at the same boys' school where our oldest sons go. Others were my college classmates. Others were my work colleagues at the Examiner or the American Enterprise Institute. Parents of the kids I had coached in baseball helped. The woman who sent the corner bakery feast is in my wife's book club and attends the same Virginia parish as my wife's parents. The Grubhub gift card, again, came from an organization whose board I had sat on. Our dense and broad network of friends, which had become a short-term safety net, wasn't merely a network of friends. It was a network of organizations, companies, churches, schools, and clubs. The hubs that bound us to these friends are what we call institutions of civil society. Sociologists might say that during those 5 days we were drawing on our deep reserves of social capital. My favorite moment to reflect came on Sunday as I was sprinting down Georgia Avenue with a blue-lipped lethargic Eve and a jogging stroller. Katie had gone to a late-morning mass at our parish with our oldest daughter. When she finally looked at her phone and ran out of mass to meet me at the urgent care center, she turned to Lucy and said, "Go sit with Dory," pointing to the mother of an old school friend. "She'll give you a ride home after mass. If not, someone else will." Katie simply knew that we could count on our parish, on the people in that community, to help. That knowledge, the certainty that someone can help you when you need it, was always there, but we hadn't noticed it until we needed it. Like the health insurance that paid most of the bill, the insurance of the social networks had provided great peace of mind without ever rising to the front of our consciousness. In short, we always took for granted the social capital we possessed and the dense, expansive networks of civil society in which we were entangled. Why? Because this was how we both grew up. If you belong to a church, you've probably experienced something like it, on either the giving end or the receiving end, or both. Alternatively, if you are college-educated and married, even if you don't belong to a church, you probably have many ties to civil society institutions, swim clubs, PTAs, workplaces, book clubs, that provide this sort of infrastructure of friends and associates. Dense social networks may not seem remarkable to you, the reader, for the same reason water doesn't seem remarkable to a fish. Networking power is like the air we breathe, so pervasive it's easy to miss, author J.D. Vance wrote when he finished law school and joined the elite. Vance noticed the networks, though, when he was at law school. It was a shocking realization for him that personal connections, typically through institutions of civil society, were central to the success of the elites. Growing up in a broken family in a working-class suburb, Vance hadn't had those networks. It wasn't so much that people in working-class towns had less powerful connections. It was that every family was less connected to anyone. His Middletown, Ohio, was a place of alienation. Hillbilly Elegy, Vance's memoir, became a bestseller in 2016 because it offered insight into a part of the country that the educated and affluent had missed, the dark, broken places in working-class Middle America. What generated the interest in working-class white Middle America? Donald Trump. So yes, as a book about the death of the American dream, this is also a book about how Donald Trump became President of the United States. But Trump isn't the subject of the book. How he has governed, how he has tweeted, and how his mind works are far beyond the reaches of this book. Rather than a book about Trump, this is a book about